Meanie.
Hope. You know I can't stand them. And you know it's me who have to take care of it all after all. You're basically living in the office. I don't think they ever said his actual name. Uh, I think it was just he or him or something like that. So I'm assuming maybe his real name is Ethan since there's no dialogue behind it. Ethan never liked cats. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. And the dogs too, not much of a difference. He didn't like the very idea of keeping a predator at home, even a small one. He couldn't explain why. Hope signed. She closed the tab with the Kitty's website, then slapped her husband lightly on the shoulder. Even so, the faces of the Persian cats, deeply depressed and equally concave, she still lingered before his mind's eye. Ethan held up his hands in a conciliatory gesture. He knew it wasn't over yet. Hope was not the one to give in this easily. She never was, and for him, there was something incredibly apparent about it. Come to think of it, quite possibly it'd be him who captivates, and then in a relationship, you always have to sacrifice something. In 4.5 or even 5, according to Hope, he had lunch. That's quite real. Suddenly, Hope frowned, looked at her screen.
Seems like you got an email from. Um. Damn. A tough one. I can't quite read it. It just hit your work mailbox.
Let me see, I hope I got a new project. The main agents are fine and all, but they're about to start pulling out of my ears. If they didn't reach for his laptop, I Hope grabbed it and dodged him.
Right. Why don't we talk contracts on a Sunday evening, So, which one of us is all work and no play,
Well, should try the benefits of freelance. Come on, give it back. Hope he could lean over the armrest hanging over the floor. Hope's defenses restored several more attacks, and each time Ethan thought the laptop would definitely hit the floor. Then she gave Ethan a peck on the cheek and slid off the couch. The laptop returned to its owner.
Alright, alright. I give up.
That's not voice acting, okay? I mean, what if they actually give you a new contract, but but on the same old middle ages? Nah, that would be a twist. Yeah, a hilarious one. But there's something about the mid ages in the letter, not a mention of the payment too. Ethan read it several times. Leaving the formality aside, there was but one question in the letter. Ethan, or rather, the part of him that was responsible for finding the accurate interest got immediately engaged by the warden. What is Selene? Ethan wrote that question right in his mouth, as if tasting it. At Glenn's the answer was simple. Ethan's real passion was the early Renaissance, but he was a history consultant after all. At least he liked to think of himself that way. The agency was paying him for a reason. He needed no research to tell that Selene was the goddess of the moon and the ancient Greece. The question, however, seems to be way more interesting in its nature. Or at least that's what Ethan wanted to think, because the many ages were actually about to start pouring out his ears. He was always diving into his work completely and living in age where madness, curses, and death are contagious in an exhausting trial. He needed some distraction. Of course, he had a part-time job at those online courses, but the platform where he lectured wasn't planet anything new just yet. Oh no, the request looked interested. Every time for one small battle, the payment, or rather, the lack thereof. It hesitated. It says his name sounded familiar. He shuts the email address and found out that out they already worked together on a couple of texts. Both times, his efforts were duly paid for by the agency, if he never worked for free. It was his, it was his principle, but rather it wasn't his principle, but rather a matter of necessity. The problem here was the fact that Eve didn't love what he was doing too much. And if you're trying to make money from what you love, that's a slippery slope. If he shows deal and on paying a consumption hill, and then you go back to splitting the sheet projectors 8 hours a day, watching your dreams wash away. Besides, Eve didn't want to lay hope down. Of course, she suppose supported him when he decided to go freelance, but Ethan never wanted to take advantage of that. No, that won't do. He works only under contract and does not give free consolations. Just as he was about to give that as a response, Hope's fair head popped from behind the door.
Are you coming?
On the walk, Hope brought up the cat thing a few more times. Ethan protested absently. His thoughts went back to the letter again and again. So that question, the more he thought about it, the more he wanted to find an answer. It was no longer a matter of helping an acquaintance whose name Ethan immediately forgot. No, it was Ethan himself who needed to lay help with distraction and an answer. It was a weird thing to do, but Ethan waited until Hope was fast asleep. Only then did he sneak over to his laptop to show his spots. Surely he had the will. Surely he had the will and show as of yet. He threw it in a few dozen polite words to change the meaning of which was he had to think about the case. Then he clicks in. When Ethan returned to bed, Hope is still breathing slow and steep. He listened to her for a while, trying not to think that he had broken his own will. After all, he really needed a distraction. No matter the strength of your affection, Shirley, you want to take a break. It was another thing he had learned over the past 4.5 years. If he even had to point out when they started to be off, he would save us on the Saturday, that is about a week after the first letter. But this, of course, won't be accurate. Those weird things start happening almost immediately after he pushed the send button. The first night, he saw a room in his room. Equipped by ceiling and seemingly with walls lit with fluorescent lamps. Ethan couldn't see the lamps upstairs, but he recognized the cold shimmering light. They often used those lamps in offices. The light filled the room to the brim. If not, it was about to burst, and then the light would splash all over the room, just like the juice from the squished tomato. Apart from the walls and the light, the room had a red sofa. The sofa stood just a bit aside from the center, not too large, quite faded, flooded with shimmering white light. The light made the sofa seem to be trembling a little, and the room trembling with it. Suddenly, Ethan thought it would be way better if the sofa was standing right in the middle. Then he felt something on the simple or touch. He had to flinch, scream, stumble to the side, yet he couldn't. He was paralyzed. Only his eyes could move, and they desperately tried to reach beyond his field of vision, where something was touching simple. Ethan felt a faint flow of air as if someone was whispering in his ears. He did hear the whisper, just one word. Ethan no longer remembered what the word was when he jumped up to bed's grass rail. Hope muttered something in her sleep but turned to her side. It took a long time to get back to sleep, but by morning, the evening did pass out, and when he woke up, the dream wiped out of his mind pretty quickly. A task of had interested him much more than some much spilling out of his subconscious. He was thinking about his hash while he was chewing on the monitor, driving to the bank and all the way back. It was just like a Christmas present, wait for the time in the closet. The more you tease if you shouldn't think about it, the more you do. At home, he did try to stick to his plan, working on the project he was paid for. It ended up sitting over a single port for several hours. He couldn't squeeze out a letter. To heck with it. After all, he was about done with his current project. It won't be much of a problem if he presented the results of it later on, would it? Besides, it was really time for him to get briefer. One can't be spending so much time in the world about madness, curse, and death are contagious. To hell with it, he did that as it classifies of the project he was paid for. There's plenty of information, but even knew he would not get into right away. The accurate and just like the precious pearls lay at great depths, he had to go down to the very bottom. Ethan was not afraid. He had done it many times. His counterpart might have to wait for a week or so, but Ethan knew he'll manage to crack the riddle. Okay. What he didn't know is what errors would be found at these great depths. And at some point in his investigation, things started happening. He started hearing sparse voices, even though he never turned on TV or radio and Hope was even at home. When he sat in front of the screen, once again trying to connect the dots in research, he could feel someone look at the back of his head. When he turned around, of course, there was someone in the room. I saw something. I definitely saw something there. I swear I saw like a finger. That scared me. My room's not overly dark right now, so but still, that actually like caught me. Cause right after you said that, I saw a slight thing move, and I'm gonna get a drink. Rather, things were disappearing and reappearing in strangest of places. One day, we find his picture in the freezer, stuck in a mince meat briquette. Even when the briquette melted down, he couldn't pull the whole pinch out. All even got was a bloody stump. At this point, he could stop and think of it, but got distracted by the coffee maker as he shoved the stump into the trash bin. There was something wrong with his eyes too. They became sharper, thicker, and deeper. But it was the case in the whole apartment. Sometimes they moved. Of course, if you don't feel like they were moving, it shouldn't have been the other way around. Either way, Ethan didn't really pay attention to any of this, just like he did with that dream he had. All of that seemed very familiar, as he already experienced similar things during the periods of intense work, when his nervous system was exhausted by the workload. There always was a rational explanation for the stress, or those new, much more environmental friendly light bulbs that Hope had installed all around the apartment. Besides, it's so easy to dismiss this sort of thing when you're deeply invested in something, and this question really got Ethan involved. Every time he seemed to get it right, he thought his start went off, like he was coming to walk, but a safe lead suddenly turned slippery, and the next thing he knew, he's at the bottom again. He never faced anything like that during his previous research. There were times he had to spend weeks or months looking for the right answers. Those were the tricky cases, but at least he could always tell how his research was progressing. This time he was stumbling in his tracks without knowing why, and that was all he could tell. The week is over, but it still had Nothing to send back to his contact. In his reply, Ethan asked a couple of questions, and that he was really interested, just as courtesy. And that's how the surprisingly exciting email conversation started. Like this, Ethan's contact could be something more, something of a friend maybe. He never asked how Ethan's work was progressing. That was the question Ethan asked himself, and the answer was never good for him. Of course, he started sleeping badly. Fell asleep was easy, but he woke up many times during the night, sometimes in cold sweat. Ethan could not remember his dreams. The night, the night, he woke up about 3 or 4 times. At first, Ethan was looking to fall asleep about immediately after he woke up. But at some point, his eyes got open again. This time, the sleep wouldn't come. Ethan felt terribly thirsty. He found no slippers on the usual spot. The noise could wake up Hope, so he decided not to look for them, and only regretted them in the porch of the kitchen. The floor was bloody cold, so cold that Ethan unconsciously looked down. Okay. When he was looking up again, he saw a shadow. No doubt that shadow belonged to a woman, a naked woman. Ethan could clearly see the points of her nipples as the shadow turned around. No, no wonder it was freezing cold here. The shadow moved slowly along the wall, floating in a rectangular pool filled with moonlight. She was dancing. She was dancing in the humming silence, and Ethan's ears were full of music. Ethan was watching her, unable to move. He was paralyzed, just like back then in his dream, but he did not remember it. At that moment, he didn't remember anything at all. Couldn't think about anything at all. What is this? He felt as an itch in his eyes in the moment till he urged him link. For a fraction of a second, he could only see the thick vision darkness, and when he opened his eyes again, there was no shadow anymore. The glowing rectangle shifted in place and now lay on the kitchen floor at Ethan's feet. He could see the cool white light flowing into the seams between the tiles on the floor. For some reason, he took a deep breath and then stepped forward into the rectangle of light. Nothing happened. And what was supposed to happen? What did he really see? Did he really see anything? He walked deeper into the room, much bolder, grabbed the decanter and started to drink a big greedy sips. Water streamed down his chin and chest, hitting the tiles on the floor and poured into the grooves of the seams. No, that wasn't a delusion. The kitchen was completely empty and the floor felt warm again, and yet it was a delusion. It wasn't a delusion. And all of this was begging for a rational explanation. That's why Ethan decided he should talk to Hope in the morning. Something changed. Did you give anyone the apartment keys now, by chance?
What?
Actually, there is something up here that's bothering me. Devil is made of clay to make soups, just like any human being. For the devil. It's getting late, and then I come. She serves tomato soup. She used to serve other things, but not anymore. I'm in the tomato soup. They both eat tomato soup. That's how I get in. Hmm. Okay. December 15th. The bus driver saw me. He didn't laugh at me and didn't get mad like my mom. He even allowed me to play in the bus. I wish there were more people like him. February 13th. An awful day. I was crazy scared for mom. She says she'll have some days off and we'll be watching movies and eating waffles. I love that, but she looks very sad and I don't know what to do. Okay. This is a sad one, right? I probably should save, honestly. Hope voice with a cup out of lips and blinked several times. Maybe you've let someone in?
I didn't. No. What's with those questions?
I feel like someone is visiting our place.
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. It's been a while since I started noticing when them things vanish, and yesterday I Hope frowned. She looked even as if a toad had just popped out of his mouth.
Yesterday, you... What?
Maybe it's not good to lie to her. She's probably gonna get mad, but how would he say it though? They saw a shadow that looked like a naked woman, or would he just say, I saw a naked woman in the kitchen? Like, how would that look? Let's say it bluntly. I saw someone in our kitchen last night. Some girl. The deep line on Hope's forehead disappeared. She leaned back on her chair and laughed, throwing her head back.
Oh, what a show you put on. Okay, fine, I confess. I did steal your cupcake. I mean, am I supposed to? I barely see you lately, so sweet pastries are my best shot to get some fun at night. Damn, I didn't realize you still remembered that cupcakes even exist. It was lying around the fridge for what? 3 days?
Hope Lynch that Eve didn't expect him to start laughing too. Yeah, he should look very serious. She noticed for the first time that the whites on his eyes were pinkish and full of broken capillaries. Her smile slowly faded. Come on, maybe you left the keys on the table somewhere?
I always leave my keys when I'm in the office. But I'm pretty sure there's no cat burglars among my colleagues. Come to think of it, we should have hired a bunch. That'd balance the risk of going broke we have on a monthly basis.
You shouldn't have your coworkers play a joke on us?
A joke? Good God, Ethan. You look like you're about to eat me alive. Take a bun instead. Tastes better, trust me.
Hope poured her chair closer to Ethan and took his hand.
Please, hon. Promise me you'll take a break after that project of yours is finished. I mean, one psycho is enough for our family. You promise?
Ethan suddenly felt like a total idiot. A tired total idiot. A naked girl in the kitchen? Yeah, sure. He probably overworked to the point he started being delirious at times. Maybe even walked in his sleep. He squeezed Hope's fingers lightly. Tightly. I promise. Sorry, I'm a moron. I'll probably stop seeing the difference between dream and reality.
Why don't you call Laura?
No, a shrink is the last thing I need right now. My bad, sure, but that'd be just too cool. What I need is to finish that project. After that, all the gears in my head will fall into place. I give you my word.
Oh, don't be like that. I mean, there's no need to start full-fledged therapy anyway. Sometimes, talking through your worries with a professional is all it takes to feel better.
At least I should have not pushed you on it. I get that you have enough problems of your own right now. How is it going in your new position? Hope rested her head on his shoulder and shrugged.
Not fired yet, apparently. Seriously though, I haven't figured it out yet. Those new responsibilities are exciting. Oh, but I always feel like I'm 10 times slower than I should be. I should probably get ready for a nice, fat piece of overtime by the end of the month.
Ethan kissed her forehead, closed his eyes, and squeezed the bridge of his nose. Well, I'm not the head of a department as of yet, but I seem to have the same stuff on my plate. Just how do you manage not to pester me with stupid questions?
Well, I eat cupcakes at night. You should give it a try.
Oh, Pete didn't shake a couple times per finger.
Anyway, don't worry. I didn't give keys to anyone, and the only cat anything I've let inside was an actual stray cat. Now that I think of it, it's been ages since we had any company. Maybe we should.
A cat? What cat? Hope sign and put away.
Please don't get all worked up, okay? At least I'm being open with you. Don't worry, she didn't wander around.
Hope, we've talked this over already.
We've talked over what? The fact that what I want doesn't really matter?
Dang it, Hope, this is my apartment and
And you're staying here alone now?
Hope finished her tea in a couple of gulps.
I have to go to the office.
She stopped at the door, not turning around.
Sorry about the cat. She was really skinny, and I felt sorry for her. I also feel sorry for myself, Ethan, because I'm lonely. Really lonely.
This time, Ethan felt like an angry idiot. He got up from the table and reached for Hope. Hope,
Don't. I'll start crying. It'll take time, and I don't have any to spare right now. See you tonight.
See you tonight. He didn't know what else to say, so he followed Hope into the hall like a silent shadow. He thought the right words would come to him, but the entrance door closed and he remained silent. In his sign, he regretted his decision to talk about the night episode. He regretted having to talk to her now. He felt sorry for himself. And as for her, and for Hope, after all, Ethan was well aware that he really didn't spend enough time with her. At first because of the agency parts, and not because of the question to what he still could not find an answer. There was something in this. He's going to make some coffee, then he'll open the laptop and write up some intro. It won't be an accurate one, but it's really time to finish the work marathon. After all, he didn't even get paid for his time. Ethan nodded to the closed door and turned around, ready to execute the plan. That's when he saw, just for a split second, but dang it, he saw a black-haired girl flushing the doorway of one of the rooms. Not even flashed, but drifted. Like Ethan's mouth went by. Shadow. Of course, there was no one in the room. This has gone too far. Ethan had gone too far, but he couldn't turn back, even though he was going to. He didn't even make any coffee. He wanted to get rid of that question, get good night's sleep, and forget about the whole thing. Forget about the shadow that danced in his kitchen. Forget about the pale silhouette that wandered through his apartment. Forget that at the very moment someone is looking at the back of his head, and that look makes the skin feel as cold as a kiss of floor that last night, and the hairs one by one stand on it. Ethan clenched his teeth, not with anger, but with some new emotion he couldn't name. The blood hummed in his ears, louder and louder. It will all be over after he writes the letter. It will be over. He opened his laptop, his hands were shaking a little, and was pouring his fingers over the keyboard when the silver rang. Ethan flinched. He started up blinking for a few seconds as the vibrating rectangle of glass and plastic scrawled across the table. Don't. Do not answer. Don't do it. Suddenly he grabbed the phone and pushed the accept button. Ethan himself know that didn't know how to happen. He just did it, that's all. The phone pressed tighter against the seal. He waited for a hoarse, gurgling voice to call his name and tell him to look behind, or what it's supposed to happen in a case like this. Hope?
Ethan?
Hope?
Were you expecting someone else, you dolt? Okay, sorry. I'm super uneasy, and so I'm talking nonsense.
Yeah, I'm uneasy too. And that was completely true.
I just... Look, am I distracting you right now?
You are, and I'm very happy about that. Go on, please.
That's great. Look, it didn't come off well at breakfast, right?
Yes? I'm sorry I'm being awful.
No, I'm sorry. Both of us have it hard now, so let's try not to fight, okay?
Good, great idea.
Why don't we go out tonight? Save for groceries? Counts as going out, if you ask me. I'll go crazy being cooped up like that.
Oh, so, so that's what's driving me nuts. Should I go out for that zucchini more often?
So what do you say?
Okay, we're gonna buy all the zucchini tonight. Hope laughed. Ethan suddenly realized that the blood wasn't buzzing in his ears. No one was looking at the back of his head, and if he turned around, he would only see Hope's socks that she left on the shoe again. Hope, I love you.
I love you too, very much. See you tonight.
At the fence of the car, he turned around.